What if I told you a quarter that started life at just 25 cents has a documented auction record of $2,530? Sounds unbelievable, but that price was actually paid for a certified 2040 Wisconsin quarter with the famous extra leaf high variety. And here's the part that makes this even more exciting. You might be holding a Wisconsin quarter right now without realizing what you're looking at, but don't assume every 2004D Wisconsin quarter is worth hundreds or thousands. The difference comes down to one tiny feature: the exact variety, condition, grade, authenticity, and what collectors are willing to pay. So before you spend that quarter, look closely, because the most important clue is hiding inside the corn. The story begins in 2004 during one of the most successful modern coin programs in American history, the United States Mint's 50-state quarters program. Instead of putting the same reverse design on every Washington quarter, the Mint released special reverses honoring each state in the order they entered the Union. Wisconsin was the 30th state admitted to the United States, and its quarter became the final state quarter release of 2004. The design is packed with Wisconsin symbolism. There's a cow representing dairy farming, a wheel of cheese representing the state's famous cheese industry, and an ear of corn representing agriculture. The word "forward" appears as Wisconsin's state motto. On the front, you'll find George Washington along with the date and the mint mark. And if you're hunting for the variety we're discussing today, that mint mark matters. Look beneath the inscription on the obverse. If you see a D, you're looking at a Denver mint quarter. APCGS records the 2004D Wisconsin issue with a mintage of approximately 226.8 million coins struck in the standard copper-nickel composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. That's a huge production number. So how could a coin produced in the hundreds of millions become valuable? The answer is hiding on the reverse. Turn the quarter over and focus your attention on the ear of corn. Near the lower left portion of the corn husk, certain 2004D Wisconsin quarters display an unusual additional leaf-like projection. Collectors recognize two famous varieties, extra leaf high and extra leaf low. And this is where you need to slow down. The extra leaf high isn't simply a scratch. The extra leaf low isn't just a random piece of damage. These are recognized varieties associated with the dies used to strike the coins. PCGs lists both as major varieties of the 2004D Wisconsin quarter. The high variety has the additional projection positioned higher, while the low variety has the feature positioned lower and more horizontally. 8 sounds like a tiny difference to collectors. That tiny difference can be everything. Now let's reveal the first serious value. A certified extra leaf high MS64 example has recorded a $126 sale, while a certified MS65 example has been recorded at $192.50. Those are actual documented sales, not guarantees of what your coin is worth today. The market can change, and condition, certification, variety attribution, eye appeal, and buyer demand can all influence the final price. But we're not finished. Because when the grade climbs, the numbers can become much more dramatic. PCGS records an MS66 extra leaf high that sold for $2,530 at Heritage Auctions in July 2006. That's the documented auction record currently listed by PCGS for the extra leaf high variety. Read that again? $2,530 for a quarter. But there's an important reality check. That does not mean your 2004D Wisconsin quarter is worth $2,530. It doesn't even mean every extra leaf high is worth thousands. That particular result involved a certified high-grade example at a specific auction more than a decade ago. A circulated coin, lower-grade example, or unverified variety could be worth dramatically less. And that distinction is exactly what separates serious coin collecting from internet hype. Now, let's talk about the other famous variety. The extra leaf low can also bring significant premiums when the variety is genuine and the coin is well preserved. For example, PCG's auction records show an extra leaf low graded MS64 selling for $110 in a Stack's Bowers auction. Another MS65 example sold for $168 in 2022. A certified MS66 example brought $132 at a 2021 Stack's Bowers auction. And here's another number that might surprise you. An ICG certified extra leaf low-graded MS67 sold for $402 at a Great Collections auction in 2012. APCGS's broader auction database also lists a much higher historical figure of $6,000 for the extra leaf low MS category. Again, these figures represent specific auction records and should never be interpreted as a guaranteed value for every coin with an extra leaf. That's why the phrase "depending on condition" isn't just a disclaimer, it's the entire story. Imagine two Wisconsin quarters sitting side by side, both have the 2004 date, both have the D mint mark, both appear to have an extra leaf, but one has been circulating for years. Its surfaces are scratched, the highest points are worn, and its original shine is gone. The other looks almost untouched. The details are sharp, the surfaces are clean, and it has been professionally certified at a high grade. They may look similar to a beginner. The market may treat them very differently. And that brings us to grading. When collectors talk about MS63, MS64, MS65, or MS66, they're describing the preservation of an uncirculated coin. Generally, higher grades indicate better preservation, but the grade alone doesn't determine the price. A variety, scarcity, certification, population, eye appeal, market timing, and collector demand all play a role. That's why a coin hunter should never look at a headline auction result and assume their pocket change example has the same value. Now here's something even more important. The extra leaf feature is generally treated as a die variety rather than simply calling it a conventional striking error. A die variety occurs when a particular die carries a distinctive feature that appears on the coins it strikes. That's different from something like an off-center strike, clipped planchet, broad strike, or certain other mint errors. And yes, a 2040 Wisconsin quarter could potentially have another legitimate mint-made error, but if you're looking at a strange mark, don't automatically call it an error. Damage happens. Coins get scraped against other coins, they get dropped, they get exposed to chemicals. They can be scratched, gouged, or altered after leaving the mint. A real collectible variety needs proper identification. So if you're checking your own quarter, here's the moment to become a detective. First, confirm the date 2004. Second, check the mint mark D. Third, flip the coin over. Fourth, inspect the coin carefully under good lighting and don't just glance at it. Use magnification if necessary. You're looking for the specific extra leaf high or extra leaf low characteristics, not merely anything that looks unusual. If you think you found one, don't clean it, don't polish it, don't scrape the feature, and definitely don't try to improve the coin yourself. Cleaning can leave permanent damage and may reduce collector appeal. Instead, compare the coin against reputable reference photographs, and if the coin appears genuinely valuable, consider professional authentication or grading, because authentication is another major piece of the puzzle. A dramatic claim about a rare coin means very little if the coin hasn't been properly identified, and that's why collector demand matters so much. The Wisconsin extra leaf varieties became famous because collectors recognized that a tiny difference had created something unusual within an otherwise enormous production run. Once a variety becomes established in the collecting community, demand for properly attributed examples can rise. But markets aren't fixed, prices move. Auction results change, collector preferences change, and the same coin can produce different results at different auctions. That's why a responsible value estimate should always be presented as a possibility, not a promise. So here's the big question. Could your 2004 D Wisconsin quarter be worth more than face value? It could be if it has the recognized extra leaf variety and the right combination of condition, grade, rarity, authentication, and collector demand. Could a high-grade example potentially reach several $100s? Yes, documented auction records show that possibility. Could an exceptional certified example command more? The historical record shows that it can. The extra leaf highs documented PCGS auction record is $2,530, while PCGS's auction database includes a remarkable $6,000 historical result for an extra leaf low example. But those numbers belong to specific coins in specific transactions. They are not promises for every quarter you find. And that's what makes this coin so fascinating. The real treasure isn't simply the number printed in an auction database. It's the possibility that an ordinary-looking quarter can contain a tiny piece of numismatic history that most people would never notice. Millions of Wisconsin quarters entered circulation. Most remained ordinary pocket change. But a special group became famous because of one tiny difference in the coin. And somewhere out there, another one could still be sitting unnoticed in a collection, an old jar, a cash drawer, or a forgotten coin box. So the next time someone hands you a quarter, don't immediately throw it into your change pile. Turn it over, look at the corn, check the date. Find the mint mark. And if you think you've discovered the extra leaf high or extra leaf low, remember, the variety must be genuine and the final value depends on condition, grade, rarity, mint characteristics, authentication, and collector demand. If you enjoyed this coin hunt, hit the like button, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and tell me in the comments, have you ever found a 2004 D Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf? You might be holding a coin worth only 25 cents. Or you might have discovered something collectors have been searching for since 2004. Either way, the only way to know is to look closely.